Yo, nerdcore, what is up? Hope y'all are still having another marvelous day. Quick reminder, we're still doing a giveaway for a year of Disney Plus on us once we hit 1,000 subs. So subscribe and drop a like.
Because that's what heroes do.
John Walker was introduced in Captain America number 323 by creator Mark Gruenwald and Paul Neary as the second version of Super Patriot, nemesis of Captain America. The first version of Super Patriot died while trying to flee from S.H.I.E.L.D. after draping the flag around him like a cape, causing him to trip and fall off a building to his death.
Knock it!
John Walker's Super Patriot was more of an anti-hero than he was a villain. Born in Custer's Grove, Georgia, he was instilled with a patriotic upbringing. He idolized his older brother Mike, who was a helicopter pilot in the Vietnam War. After Mike died, he decided to enlist in the military to honor his brother's memory. While serving, Walker befriends Lamar Hoskins, Hector Lennox, and Jerome Johnson. But with the war ending shortly afterwards, he doesn't get the chance to fulfill his dream. John winds up receiving an honorable discharge, but he still had hopes of becoming an American hero. Once back in the States, a friend of John tells him about a man named Curtis Jackson, the power broker. Whoops, my bad. A tad too much melanin. Ah yes, here we are. You see, the power broker was in the business of granting powers to those who could afford the bill. Though most of his test subjects died or became deformed, he did have some success with heroes such as Demolition Man, a poor man's Wolverine, Sharon Ventura, and Armadillo Man. Curtis and his head scientist Dr. Carl Malice granted Walker and his buddies superhuman strength by means of his technology. Now indebted to Power Broker Inc., Walker was to join the Unlimited Class Wrestling Federation and pay a portion of his earnings to Power Broker Inc.
You're going nowhere!
Not convinced that pro wrestling would make him into a national hero, Walker decided to go the superhero route, and thus Super Patriot was born. Walker's first move as a hero, of course, is a smear campaign against Cap. He claimed Cap was an outdated emblem and that it was time for a new symbol of liberty and justice, and that he was that symbol. But his speech is interrupted by a staged attack from the bold urban commandos, or better known as Buckies, his buddies in disguise, who claim to be there at the orders of Captain America. Super Patriot easily defeats the Buckies as Steve watches from the crowd. In continuing his smear campaign, Walker has the Buckies attack various towns and college campuses across the nation. When Cap finally decides enough is enough, he confronts Walker, but without his agent Therm there to rein him in, Walker attacks Cap in what turns into a long, drawn-out battle. While Cap doesn't necessarily lose, it's clear that Super Patriot is more than a match for him, and both men eventually concede. A worn-out Cap realizes that if the battle had continued, he might be on the losing side, and he starts to question his own abilities. Soon after, Super Patriot stops the terrorist warhead from setting off a nuke atop the Washington Monument. This, not being one of his staged acts, garners the attention of the media and of Valerie Cooper, advisor to the president and member of the Commission of Superhero Activities created to oversee the acts of superhuman individuals. You can think of it as like an early version of the MCU's Sokovia Accords. The commission orders Cap to quit the Avengers and report directly to them, claiming he's still under contract to the military under Project Rebirth, the project that created him. On top of that, they tell him that the shield, uniform, and even the name Captain America is 100% property of the US military.
Devil's in the details, Bev.
Cap refuses, saying that the role has grown beyond that of a mere soldier acting on behalf of political agendas, and with that, he leaves the role of Captain America for the second time. The first time was actually a good few issues before the Super Patriot arc, when Cap had become the original Nomad. Yep, another Cap we'll cover soon. With the uniform and the shield back in their hands, the commission starts to decide who should take Steve's place. Some of the considerations are Nuke, G.I. Max, the second version of Nomad, Jack Monroe, Falcon, and even Nick Fury. But Valerie suggests that it be the Super Patriot based on all the hype he's got going for him right now, and the committee agrees. When Valerie offers Walker the role, he's reluctant at first since he's devoted so much time into being Super Patriot, but ultimately he agrees and begins training with the Freedom Force, a team of previously pardoned villains that now work for the Commission as well. Along with watching archive footage of Cap, he's also trained by Taskmaster on how to wield the shield the way Cap does. In return for taking up the mantle, Walker asks if his buddies, the Buckies, could assist him, but the committee only allows Lamar, who is re-imaged as the new Bucky. Meanwhile, Steve Rogers is taking up the identity of Captain America, wearing a red, white, and black variation of his Captain America costume. Maybe one day we'll cover all the different versions of Bucky. I don't know, let me know what you guys think down in the comments if that's something you think you would dig. Let's continue. During Walker's time as Cap, he proves to be extremely capable, albeit much more violent due to his shoot first, ask questions last mentality, often brutally beating his foes to death. But after some of his more successful missions, the Commission plans to reveal the acting Cap as a replacement to the original. But before the conference, Walker's rejected buddies, all in their feelings about being left behind and now calling themselves left-winger and right-winger, expose the new Captain America's identity. As a result, Walker's parents are captured by the Watchdogs, a militia group that he's faced off with before. But Walker fails to save his parents and they are killed in the crossfire during his rescue attempt. An enraged Walker kills all the Watchdogs on scene. Afterwards, it's time to track down his old buddies, left and right winger. When he finally catches up with them on an old oil rig, he confronts them and proceeds to whoop their asses. Walker ties up his two former pals after nearly beating them to death, and in what he calls an act of mercy, leaves them to die in a fiery explosion.
You didn't see that coming?
Now more unstable after his parents' death and forced to miss their funeral due to his obligations as Cap, enter the Red Skull, who tricks a vulnerable Walker into believing Steve also played a role in his parents' death. So it's Steve Rogers, the Captain, versus John Walker's Captain America. After a passionate battle, Steve gains the upper hand and immobilizes Walker. Here we learn that the Red Skull had agents in the Commission that helped orchestrate the events leading to Steve's resignation and Walker ultimately becoming Captain America. After realizing that they were both pawns, Walker uses the last of his strength to launch his shield at the Red Skull right before he doses Steve with his signature dust of death. The dust backfires, deforming the Red Skull's face, giving him his signature look, while all the time before he just wore a Red Skull mask. Walker and Steve reconcile and report back to the Commission. When they unveil what went down to the Commission, Steve is offered his mantle back immediately, but he refuses. It's Walker who persuades Steve back to the role of Cap. He's finally realized the weight being Captain America bears and how every move is and always will be scrutinized. He tells Steve that he'll never truly live up to his legacy, but he still plans to serve the nation the best way he can. The Commission winds up faking Walker's assassination and gives him a new identity. He takes Steve's discarded Captain uniform and adopts the name US Agent. He would go on to serve on different versions of the Avengers team until ultimately gaining their respect and becoming the patriotic hero he set out to be. And just like that, Steve Rogers is back as our main Cap. Speaking of Steve coming back, while I was making this video, Deadline reported that Chris Evans was in negotiation to return as Cap in the MCU. I'm guessing it's probably going to be like more of a supporting role, kind of how Robert Downey Jr. appears in all the non-Iron Man movies. But hey, you never know. I mean, if they really wanted to, they could do to Cap what they did to Ant-Man in Endgame and just make him young again.
It's baby.
It's Scott. As a baby, he'll grow.
So let me know in the comments what you think about John Walker's US Agent, and also your theories for how Chris Evans will return as Cap in the MCU going forward. Well, my friends, that's a wrap for this episode of All Caps. Next up, Isaiah Bradley. And for more Marvel Comics videos, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.